been the procedure prior. I'm going to let Rick, we've been invited into his church, or they've allowed us to meet here, so I give Rick the floor before we start, to kind of give a general code of conduct as the church will allow, and say a prayer.
Okay.
So I appreciate it, Rick.
In general, I've been told that the forum here should be an extension, consider this an extension of the sanctuary itself. So the behavior in this room would be the same as if we were inside the church. And I think everybody knows what that means. So, without any further, would you please stand for the opening prayer? Heavenly Father, we are gathered here tonight to discuss all the affairs of our neighborhood. Please let your guiding hand be on all of us, to control us, to restrain us, and to, of course, give us fruitful answers to all the problems and the concerns of the neighborhood. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please lead the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Appreciate it, Rick. We're going to get started here. Before I do the roll call, I've adopted the process that's set forth in the bylaws, but also this is a meeting for the community and for everyone in the community to talk as they wish and bring concerns to the board or actions to the board or anything that you wish to bring to the board should be brought to the board in this meeting and through email or otherwise. So I would ask that we conduct ourselves with respect. Anyone in this room that wants to have the opportunity to have uninterrupted speech concerning the board of the business of the homeowners association or property owners association will have that opportunity. We are going to conduct business. First, there are going to be reports from committees, reports from officers. We're going to talk about some old business that's been discussed. We're going to probably bring up some new business. After we bring up the new business, anyone in the room that has some business or concerns that they want to discuss or let the board know about can do that. You'll have an uninterrupted speech. If you're interrupted, we'll stop, let the commotion die down, and you'll have your uninterrupted speech. To do that, though, we brought the podium out as that way. If you're in the back of the room or in the front of the room, the person who's speaking will be at the podium. So if you're not at the podium, you don't have the acknowledgement from the floor to speech, and you'll have 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, depending on how quickly we get through this business. But it is a limited amount of time as we have many people in the room. So if we can all work with that, I think we'll all have the opportunity to speak, and we'll get to say what we need to say, and business can flow accordingly. So that being said, we're going to start with a roll call. I'm here, Curtis Hollis as the president, John Garza as vice president, Julie McNeil, secretary, Deborah Alvio, president, treasurer, Juan Garza, president, board of directors, Bill McComas, president, board of directors, and Pat Murphy, president, board of directors. So all present. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Julie. She's got some minutes that need to be approved, so I'll turn the floor over to you.
corrected version of the December minutes for December 15, 2014. They were corrected in the last meeting. Just going on to what was corrected and has been inserted. Mr. Garza's name was corrected in the third paragraph. On page 2, we noted that Jim Skanes declined respectfully the nomination for at-large board member. We added Mr. Pat Murphy, who was nominated to that. We added that Mr. Maxwell was nominated to a director position and stepped down from that position. We added that homeowner, Mr. Cezo, is that how I'm saying that right? Was removed from the election tabulation committee because of a conflict with his wife Nancy being a nominee as secretary. Debbie Johnson noted the conflict and suggested Mr. Martinuke replace Mr. Cezo on the election committee. So those things have been changed. Do I have a motion from the board that these meetings be accepted?
I make a motion.
Motion's been made to accept the December minutes with corrections. It's been seconded. We'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote. We'll accept the minutes from December 15th.
December 15th.
December 15th.
Thank you. The next meeting minutes that I want to read is for February the 10th. Homeowner Rick Lamascus gave rules of meeting, led prayer, and pledge of allegiance. Roll call was taken by Curtis Hollis. Members present were Curtis Hollis, John J.G. Garza, Deborah Algio, Julie McNeil, Pat Murphy, Bill McComas, and Juan Garza. Being a quorum of directors present, the meeting was called to order by President Curtis Hollis at 7:05 p.m. The minutes of December 15, 2014 were read by Secretary Julie McNeil. Corrections were made concerning the December minutes. Minutes will be reread at the March 2015 meeting for motion to accept. Meeting minutes for January 13th, 2015 were read by Secretary Julie McNeil. Motion to accept January 13th minute meetings were made by J.G. Garza, seconded by Pat Murphy. All voted in favor to accept the minutes as read. Motion carried. Meeting minutes for the January 22nd, 2015 emergency executive closed meeting minutes were not available to be read and would be ready to present at the March 2015 board meeting. Curtis Hollis discussed committees and how they will function. Finance Committee will communicate with Deb Algio. Communications Committee will communicate with Julie McNeil. Architectural Committee will communicate with Juan Garza. Deed Restrictions Committee will communicate with Bill McComas. Bylaws Committee will communicate with Pat Murphy and J.G. Garza. Curtis Hollis appoints the Finance Committee members, Chairperson Ann Shirley, Co-Chairperson Linda Martin, Committee Auditor Debbie Johnson and Sherry Murphy, Committee Auditor Archives Teresa Knoll, Committee Consultant Jeannie Northrup, Committee Member for Lamb of God and Miscellaneous Errands Rick Lamascus. Ann Shirley delivered Financial Committee report. 18 notices have gone out by mail concerning past due fees. 1 response has been received. Currently, we are getting bids on mowing for behind Ashwood and behind Fernwood. Homeowner asked why RPOA is moving lots and not making mowing the owners pay for the mowing themselves. Curtis Hollis said he could only speak for the last 2 months. Curtis Hollis asked about the history of this matter. Deborah Algio brought to the table that she was told that recouping the money from the landowner was not in the old deed restrictions, therefore the landowners could not be invoiced. Curtis Hollis appointed Communication Committee members, Chairpersons Rick Lamascus and Lisa Lazarte, Committee members Debbie Johnson, Diane Martin, Sherry Murphy, and Debbie McQueen. Curtis Hollis appointed the Bylaws Committee members Thomas Montgomery, Lillian McAnally, Jim McQueen, Rick Lamascus, Mark Connor, and Mike Amar. Bill McComas mentioned that he had 2 homeowners show interest in being on the Deed Restriction Committee. Other homeowners showing interest in the meeting were Mr. Cezo and Lynn Biddlard. Architectural Review Committee appointments were Mr. Cezo, Lynn Biddlard, and Jim McQueen. Curtis Hollis thanked everyone for volunteering on the committees. Treasurer's report given by Deborah Algio. Deborah gave copies of the report to all board members. Motion to accept the treasurer's report was read. As read was made by Julie McNeil. Motion seconded by J.G. Garza. All voted to accept and the motion carried. Deborah Algeo stated that all committee members would be covered by our current insurance. Curtis Hollis stated that a settlement had been made by the new board concerning the suit filed in Justice of the Peace Court by Luby and Diana Martin. Deborah Algeo stated that the agreement was made, but she was still in the middle of it. Deborah Algeo asked Luby Martin to verify that the RPOA has until February 15, 2015 to produce all requested and agreed on items from previous board, as they have 30 days to comply. Luby Martin agreed to this statement. Curtis Hollis stated that the production and retention policy currently on file with the Harris County Clerk's Office had not been accepted by the RPOA board. A motion would need to be made to accept the policy in order for them to be adopted. A motion to accept the production and retention policy was made by Deborah Algeo, and J.G. Garza seconded the motion. All were in favor with the exception of Bill McComas. Mr. McComas stated that he had not seen the policy and would abstain from voting. Motion passed. Curtis Hollis asked for board members to comment on the voting process for new amended deed restrictions and then for homeowners' comments. Much discussion was made on this topic, but no motions were made. Juan Garza stated that he objected to the emergency meeting and asked the board not have those meetings as he believed they were illegal. With no further business to discuss, motion to adjourn meeting was made by Julie McNeil and seconded by J.G. Garza. All agreed, meeting adjourned at 8:58 p.m. Respectfully submitted. Do I have a motion to accept?
That's the, I guess, portion of that. Is that the February meeting?
Yes.
That's for the February meeting. And, what the homeowners discuss here are not going to go in that, in those minutes.
Not unless a motion is made.
I think,
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
okay, yeah, Juan asked if what was discussed, amongst the homeowners is gonna go into the minutes. And I think, a review, of the minutes, I think added discussion, the fact that we had discussion, I don't think it's possible for, Julie or any person taking the minutes to take every word that each person says here in the meeting. So I'm okay, with the minutes as they read. But
It's not protocol for those things to be put in there. What you make note of is motions that are made or that pass or that are put up for vote and don't pass. So those were, just the highlights are what are put on there.
is there a motion to accept these minutes as read?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion been made to accept the minutes as read. Is there a second?
I second it.
There's a second. We'll take a vote to accept the minutes as read. All in favor?
Aye.
4 in favor. The motion passes to accept the minutes as read. One and two, abstaining.
No, it's,
Oh, you said aye?
So
Oh,
it's just one.
so just,
Yeah, I propose it.
you opposed?
Yeah, I
Okay.
propose.
And it was seconded by who?
It was seconded by Pat.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more, right? Okay. We have one more set of minutes to read, and we'll move on to report from the committees.
Okay. This is the Ramblewood Homeowners Association Board of Directors Emergency Executive Closed Meeting held January 22nd, 2015. Members met at the home of J.G. Garza on January 22nd, 2015, 7:30 p.m. Members present were Curtis Hollis, J.G. Garza, Bill McComas, Pat Murphy, Deborah Algeo, Julie McNeil, and Juan Garza. Juan Garza stated that he objected to the emergency meeting and he was present only to witness what he believed was illegal. He wanted to be sure we noted this objection in the minutes. Curtis Hollis explained that the purpose of the meeting was to review and answer a certified letter received by the Ramblewood Estates Property Owners Association, Inc. received by the Ramblewood Estates Property Owners Association, Inc. on December 26, 2014 from homeowners. The deadline to answer the letter was January 26, 2015. All agreed that legal counsel should be contacted in regards to the concerns. The letter specified several questions and concerns. Pat Murphy suggested that we look at the letter line by line and determine as a board how to answer each concern. All agreed. After several hours of discussion of those concerns, it was decided to ask for an additional 30 days to investigate further. Meeting adjourned. The following day, Julie McNeil formulated the answer letter as discussed in meeting, forwarded the draft to Curtis Hollis for approval, mailed out via certified mail to the homeowner on January 26, 2015. Emails concerning the need for an emergency executive closed meeting are attached. Respectfully submitted.
Yeah,
Will these be posted also on the site?
These will be posted on the website after approval. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, because I was at that meeting, and I don't recall all agreed on legal counsel should be contacted in regards to their concerns. And if we did agree, then when did we all, we didn't make a motion, but somehow we did contact legal counsel, and I wasn't aware of any of that. And I wasn't even aware of what the legal counsel response was till just recently. So, yeah, I'd like to object to that, 'cause I don't recall that.
Legal counsel was discussed, even one was adamant about he wanted legal counsel. Email, per instructions of the president, was told to be sent out to all the board members. There is an email where all of it was sent out to the board members.
Okay. Well, if it was discussed, what was discussed?
That we run that by the attorney to make sure.
What were we going to run by?
Well, I
Were
think
the questions
we,
discussed?
okay, so
I
I
don't
think,
recall any of that.
okay, so initially I'd like to step in here.
I have my comment because he.
Okay, 1 second. What was discussed in that emergency executive session, a lot of which is confidential, that was why it was a closed executive session. So, given that it had to do with a lot of homeowners and a certified letter, we posted the certified letter, we took the names away. So, and all communications with the lawyer are confidential. So I'm hesitant to talk any much more about all those communications in this open meeting.
So I just have an objection to that sentence in there. The other problem on this too is it says emergency executive closed meeting. So it wasn't a session, it was a closed meeting. There's a difference, right?
Well, if there's a difference, you can explain it to me privately, but I think we're just talking about semantics here. But Juan, you had a concern?
No, except that, because it says we all agree. I didn't agree, I was at that meeting. However, I had a 30-second phone call that I had to excuse myself out. If that agreement was made, it was within that time that I took my phone call. And on my phone call, it says around 30 seconds. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt to say you all agree. But somebody had to make a motion, for that step to move forward, because ultimately we were spending money, for these consultations. So,
So I can put with the exception of Juan Garza and Bill McComas, would that make you more comfortable that that statement is not all agreed, but?
and whoever made that motion, and whoever seconded it.
There was no motions made.
No, I
There
was not.
seconds, and you did say you wanted legal counsel.
He doesn't say now.
You said you wanted legal counsel.
Deborah, is there any more discussion? No, is there a motion made to accept the minutes with corrections as modified? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bill seconds the motion as modified. Can we take a vote? All in favor? Bill? All opposed? All right, so unanimous. Deborah, did you vote yes? Was that a yes or a no to accept the minutes?
Yes.
Accepted, so it's a unanimous vote yes to accept the minutes as read. All right. So those will be posted to the website within 3 days of approval. So if they're not there tomorrow or Thursday,
There were some other items, because you're saying that unless we take a motion that it's not supposed to go in the meetings. I mean, Julie just told me that right now. I don't know how exactly this process goes. But unless there's a motion and there's then that's when they put it up in the meeting, so. In action. So, everything else that we discussed, I guess, should not go in the minutes then. A lot of other stuff was discussed on the meeting, on that meeting.
did it all pertain to,
No,
Okay.
Different items.
So, we accepted the minutes as read.
Mhm.
We're gonna move on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's correct.
We're gonna take reports from the committees.
We're missing one more meeting. Another one that we got together at your house. Do we have
Are
those
those
minutes
not
yet?
posted on the website?
The one in either December or January, the first time that we got together, that was at your house?
There's a special meeting, we met at my house. I thought those were read.
I thought they were red last.
If they're not, well, I can take a look at it, and if they're not read, we'll have them read, we'll have them approved.
No problem, I just want to make sure that they get out there somehow.
Do you have the date exactly that you're talking about?
I don't, I mean, I didn't keep track of, those minutes, because I was even objecting to that meeting, and I have those emails to where I was also objecting. to that
Okay, you'll
meeting.
give me the date, we'll make sure those get read and approved.
Okay.
Thank you. Report from the committees. There's a standing committee, the Architecture Review Committee. I don't see the chairman here to give a report. Is,
He's out of town, he has somebody sick in his family.
CJ, do you mind giving the report at the podium?
Juan and,
CD.
Wayne and
What is
I.
your name, please?
CJ,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
Just look it up.
Yeah, I understand, I'm new to it too. I appreciate it.
On March 2nd, I think it's about a week ago, Monday, we met at Ron Garza's house, Jim McQueen and I, and Tim O'Brien was out of town on business, and Lynn Ballard was out of town on business too. But Juan went over, what the committee was supposed to be doing, showed us some things that, he'd done in the past and what he was working on. And then we decided that, well, I kind of nominated Jim because he has a lot of background in building and stuff like that. And that he was, we picked him as the chairperson, and that's about all we did. We just went over all of our duties and everything, and kind of got some scenarios of what we need to look at and things like that.
Quick question, are there any pending concerns that the ARC is dealing with right now?
I think there's one, is that, am I correct? Or is that what
Are there any pending concerns or any pending obligations? At the
Pending
ARC?
obligations, there's one.
There's just one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was all, so I appreciate it, CG, look forward to working with you and Jim. And I actually am gonna make an appointment. In February, I appointed CG, Jim, and Lynn Ballard. I hadn't talked personally with Tim O'Brien by the February meeting, but since then I've talked with Tim O'Brien, and I'm going to appoint Tim O'Brien on that committee as well. So all four of those gentlemen will be working together, and if there's any concern with the ARC, y'all can talk with CG. I appreciate it, CG.
Who's on the ARC committee?
The ARC committee is, the chairman is Jim McQueen, Lynn Ballard, CG, and Tim O'Brien, or CG, I don't know.
Mr. Sessa, Lynn Bernard,
Sessa.
Jim McQueen, and now Tim O'Brien.
Okay, does the finance committee have a report to offer?
Real brief.
Thank you.
Well, we began with 18 overdue accounts, and as of today, we have, that's down to 13, so 5 lots have caught up. And so right now, we have a total outstanding of $3,907.16, and we're working on that. And the second notice went out this week, so. So that's where we stand there. And then also on the bids for mowing, this just concerns Ramblewood, both sides of Ramblewood, on the north side only. And we have 4 bids. They range from about $146 per mow to $492. So, and some offered weed eating, some didn't. So I've charted them out here for the board to take a look at. We marked who provided insurance. And we're going to submit this to the board to consider for mowing.
Fantastic.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So were all those companies all insured?
We have copies of insurance on 3 of them.
3, okay.
Do you mind if I keep
No,
this?
there you go.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thanks, Ann. For the Finance Committee. Appreciate all the work, hard work. I know it's not easy. Trying to collect. Probably one of the toughest things we have to do. So the Communication Committee is still getting its feet on the ground, working on putting together a newsletter. Also, once we've gotten everything developed with the website, I'm hoping that this will also be a function that can be turned over to the Communication Committee. But right now, I don't think there's a report to give, although to the Communication Committee, I would like to ask, and I know Julie's the liaison, so this is probably primarily going to fall with you working with them, to build a call tree of just members of the subdivision who want to be on the call tree, but if there by chance is something that needs immediate attention, that the Communication Committee can build a call tree and get phone calls spreading around the neighborhood relatively quickly. So what it would look like in more detail, basically 4 or 5 people, call 3 or 4 people. Those 3 or 4 people initially call some others. So, and I'll work with you on that. And that's only on people that want to be on the call tree. But I think that's something that the Communication Committee can provide and can be a great help. The Deed Restriction Committee, I haven't spoke with the individuals personally yet, so I'm not ready to make those appointments. The Deed Restriction Committee will be working with Bill, and Bill's been putting in a lot of hard work on the guidelines and how we want the Deed Restriction Committee to operate. He's done a lot of good work. But so, given that I haven't been able to talk to those individuals personally, I don't like to nominate someone to a committee that I haven't spoken with personally. And I think y'all would agree that you wouldn't want to be on the committee if you weren't in the room. So, and haven't talked to them personally and got to talk with them for more than about 5 minutes. So we're going to hold off on making those appointments today.
Got a question on that.
Okay.
Since these officers or this committee is not being appointed yet,
Yes.
meanwhile, the violations that are going on in Ramblewood, how are those supposed to be addressed?
Okay, and just because we don't have a deed restriction committee doesn't mean the boards can't function in that role until we put someone in that committee. So, and you and I drove around Saturday, took kind of a baseline where we're at in the neighborhood, and so we can function in that role until we get people in that committee and in that function.
Is there like something that we can go ahead and get started immediately?
Yeah, we can do that because deed restrictions are private and confidential. That's not something I would discuss in an open forum like this.
Right.
But we drove Saturday. We got started, and I would like to get a template. Bill's been working real hard, and he's got pretty good system set up, and really good system set up. And we can use those pieces to get started until we have a committee in that place.
I'd like to just comment.
Okay, absolutely.
Since it's going to be my committee.
Yep.
First, I just want to thank all the volunteers who volunteered for the committee. There was a lot of you. Obviously, we don't need that many people on the committee, so I've selected 5. I've talked to all of them, just waiting on Curtis to appoint them. But we are slowly making progress moving forward. So obviously, since we've had a problem here deciding what restrictions we're going to use. So anyhow, hopefully by tonight that will be resolved and we can move forward with this process. But I have every intention to go ahead and meet with the people I've selected this week and start getting the ball rolling. I also would like to make a recommendation for this newsletter that's going to go out. If we could add something from this committee just to remind folks, you know, it's that time of the year where the weeds are popping up and there's a few things that we see, trash cans being left outside all the time, those kind of things. Just as a reminder, a friendly reminder to save us time in the future. So, and that's all I have. Thank you.
No problem, I appreciate it. Yeah, that'll be a good add to the newsletter. All right, so we've gotten to the committees. I'm going to start the bylaw committee. I apologize, and I didn't, it's not.
But you also have finance committee.
The finance committee.
Not
Yeah.
all of it.
Well, we'll get to you in the officer's report.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Curtis, before we get on the clerk, if you excuse me.
Okay.
There was an electronic meetings, there's been 2 electronic meetings that didn't get documented. I just thought about them right now, sorry, I didn't, I wanted to know. But there's been 2 electronic meetings where you got the majority of the votes to pay some checks out, so I think it's important to put them on the minutes. And they were electronic meetings. And they were done in the month of February.
We've got it notated and we'll get it handled. The bylaw committee, I've talked with Pat. I'm not sure that they've appointed a chairman yet. And I think that Rick is going to be the chairman. Okay. Oh, they did. Okay. So Rick is going to be the chairman. I was informed that there's not a lot to report as of now. Okay, so I know that they've met once and they've started, but there's not a lot to report on that front given well, the bylaw committee I appointed last month. So
And who was on the bylaw committee?
it's
I can't hear.
sorry.
Let me get that and I'll follow it out.
All right, appreciate it.
Bylaws committee members are Thomas Montgomery, Lillian McAnally, Jim McQueen, Rick Lamascus, Mark Connor, and Mike Amar. Rick Lamascus, chairperson.
And I haven't spoken with anyone else, so I'm not ready to appoint them at the meeting here, but hopefully there'll be progress in the April meeting. Fantastic, I appreciate it. Hard work, getting the bylaws updated. That's something that we've taken on and we hope to get done this year. So moving to the report from the officers, I'm going to start with Deborah and the report from the treasurer. If there are any motions to be made, just let me know.
Okay, I've got several reports to make, so, and yes, thank you, I know I'm being recorded, so I'm going to be very careful in everything that I'm reading. It's in black and white and be presented to the board. Number one that I need to bring to the board for consideration is with all the information that's been given to me from the outgoing board in 2014, I have put together all of the numbers with with the checks, with the deposits, and this is unaudited by the board, okay? But it is a rough draft of our 11/20 return for the year 2014. I just want every board member to look at it real quickly. It took lots of work from the outgoing board, and I want to say that Teresa worked with me very diligently in getting all of this information together for us. And then I did go online for 1999 and downloaded an 1120H corporate return for a nonprofit corporation for Rumblewood Property Owners Association. In here one is all of the detailed information, invoices and checks that go behind all of the expenses for the checks. I've also got, for anybody that wants to review it, bank statements verifying deposits and checks for these numbers. Please keep in mind, this is an unaudited report by the board, okay? I'm working on this with QuickBooks, and I did have a glitch. I apologize to the homeowners, and I'm going to be working with somebody to help me on this problem right here. So I went into Word and I produced P&Ls and balances, not only for year end, but also for January and February, that once the board looks at these reports and approves them, then the webmaster will put on the website for any homeowner to be able to have access to these open records.
Excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
could we not have at least a report on the income and expenses? That would be all I would be interested in.
Would you allow me to finish
For
my
2014?
Would you allow me to finish my reports?
Oh, I beg your
I'm
pardon.
not finished.
I beg your pardon.